Hey guys, gals, and others. From now on, I'm going to be greeting y'all this way in deference to my LGBTQ community members, because we are dealing with generations that are non-binary, gender fluid. I don't quite understand it yet, but I do know that there's an evolution going on, and I want to be cognizant of it, and I want to be an ally, because I believe that the gender fluidity that we're seeing is an evolution of our species. So it's a way for us to get better. Obviously, the need for procreation is no longer a problem. So I think that the life force, nature, is helping out humanity by creating this gender fluidity, not male, not female, because we really, again, procreation is no longer an issue. In fact, there's too many of us. We need to stop procreating, so stop. So that's just my theory. My theory is that it's simply an evolution, and it's something that we need to accept. It's not a fad. It's humanity getting better, getting away from things that no longer serve us as a species. So, hey guys, gals, and others. Today is going to be cannabis healing. I'm not going to talk politics or anything like that. I want to talk about cannabis healing. I was just reading a few articles that I will post in a link at the bottom. And these articles are talking about, first of all, they're peer-reviewed. That's a big thing. And they're talking about the efficacy and safety of cannabis when dealing with so many different ailments and diseases, things that afflict humanity. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my own healing. I have lupus. I was diagnosed with that. I also have symptoms of RA. I haven't been diagnosed because I haven't been to a doctor in years. Haven't been able to afford to. No health insurance. Thanks, Biden. Anyway, I have symptoms of RA. My mother had both lupus and RA, and I do have some of the bone deformities going on. You can see the curvature of the fingers, unfortunately, the swelling of the knuckles. So, but again, autoimmune disorders they all kind of group together as far as being a problem of the immune system attacking your own body. Now, when we're talking about cannabis healing, we are talking about a plant that deals specifically with the endocannabinoid system, which is very important. Again, I've said this before. We only discovered we had one like in the late 80s, early 90s. But the fact that we do have one, and the fact that it's been proven how important it is for our survival, this endocannabinoid system, because it's a regulatory system for all of the other systems. Every cell in our body has receptors for cannabinoids. Major organs, our immune system, all of it. So if we're not getting cannabinoids, then our endocannabinoid system is starving, it's not able to do its job, and so the immune system goes out of whack, and your organs start to fail, and you have respiratory problems, and it runs the gamut. So, let's talk about cannabis healing. First of all, it's so bright out here, I have to have my sunglasses on. But if you look back to a podcast that I did for Mother's Day, this past Mother's Day, you will see my eyes were swollen, so swollen and red, and just these bags under my eyes, which are not there anymore. It was the lupus rash was attacking my eyes and my face. The rash actually went under my eyelid. Talk about painful. And so for that, I was using Cannabis. Now, it's so hot out here, it's probably turned to liquid. I gotta be careful opening it. And if anyone wants to know how to make some of these things, these medicines, because believe me, it's more conducive to make it yourself. A lot of times, it has turned to liquid, but it is it looks green, and it's usually solid, but it's like 90 right now, so it's really hot. Now this is something that I use for my hands. You know, I've used it for my face. It helped me, along with emu oil, to get rid of that rash. Now, this past week I found out that I have the rash migrated to my scalp. My scalp was lumpy and thick with like an eczema, and when I scratched and itched, my hair was coming out. That's how bad it was. That's how bad. So what I did was I took this balm and I melted it down so it's the consistency that it is now. I should have just left it outside. And I put it all over my head last night. And now those spots are almost completely gone. So it is an effective healing tool. There is a woman in the cities who has MS, multiple sclerosis. She was on opiates for the longest time, and she wanted to get off of them because, you know, if you've been on opiates or pain medicine for a long time, you never feel good. You never feel good. You always feel sickly. Your body just doesn't want to do anything. It's real bad stuff. So she wanted to get off of them. Oxy, she wanted to get off of. This is all she uses now. She uses my balm as a rub, and she does not need pain medicine. That is incredible, okay? So this is one way. I use this for skin. Ever since menopause, my skin is very, very temperamental. So I wash my face every night with warm water. That's it. I take my makeup off with vegetable oil. I wash my face with warm water, and I moisturize with the Cannabis all over, put it on my neck and everything. I'm 54 years old. I'll be 55 in September. I look my age. I mean, I know I do, you know. There's wrinkles and crinkles and all that other stuff. But I'm a lot healthier now than I was back in my 20s because of cannabis. And my skin is a lot healthier too. Now, there are two types of tincture that I use as well on a daily basis. And one is alcohol-based tincture, which this is how it's made. What I basically do is I fill a jar up with leaves, stems, and buds. I use the whole plant. I'm into holistic because I believe, I'm a cannabis spiritualist, and I believe that nature knows what we need. And so every part of the plant should be utilized, you know. I mean, you got these scientists taking the CBD here and the THC here. It all works in conjunction. So if you're just using CBD oil, you're not getting the full effects, because I'll tell you something. THC is one of the strongest anti-inflammatories on the planet. You might not have known that. So anyway, what I use a high quality vodka, and I put it in the jar with the trim, and I leave it on a shelf, a dark shelf, for 3 months. And then I have alcohol-based tincture. I like to put a lot of these bottles away. You know what you can also do? You can also make a cannabis martini. You take this tincture, because it's vodka and cannabis. You know, the darkness is the cannabis, you know, the healing that gets leached out of the plant by the vodka. So you can actually make a really good dirty martini with this. Yeah. So, but anyway, I carry this around, the alcohol-based tincture, because I have panic attacks all the time. Drop it under your tongue, take a breath, and you can actually feel it instantaneously working to calm you, to balance you. Doesn't make you fucked up. You don't feel like you're high. It's different. Every single one of these things is different than smoking. And that's very important to know too, because different people and different physiologies will react differently to the kind of cannabis that you make. So there's that. I also put a dropper full of my coffee every morning. This is the glycerin-based tincture. Now, I get Now Solutions. It's a vegetable glycerin. It says versatile skincare. But glycerin, please, if you're going to use anything to make cannabis products, make sure that they're organic and they're natural, because you're putting it in your body for medicine, right? So it's not just the cannabis that has to be well cultivated. It is the stuff that you use. So the glycerin, you know, it's about 16 bucks a bottle, but it's worth it. It's actually, and you can probably get some good quality glycerin in bulk online, I'm sure, you know, maybe a keg of it or whatever. But it's real important to make sure that those products are good. Now the glycerin tincture is different. It's viscous. This tincture, it can be used for people, kids with autism. It's, you know, kids with seizures, pain, sleep. So 2 different kinds. I carry them both around with me everywhere I go. I always have my medicine with me. It's very important to me because, like I said, the alcohol-based tincture I can drop under my tongue when I start to have a panic attack, which honestly, I usually have one every time I leave the yard. And so I just started working again, and that's a lot of anxiety as well in that realm. So for me, it's, you know, anyway, it's one of those things where it's nice to have it when you're driving in the car if you start to experience anxiety. Something else, if you have, if you're, you know, living in a state that isn't quite legal, like this one, if you have a compact, see, now I can't open it because my fingers are so greasy, but are you kidding me? There we go. If you have a compact, you can definitely use it as a receptacle for, you know, it's just a nice way to kind of conceal it, although I don't really do a good job of concealing it anymore. I'm almost to the point where it's like, fuck you, arrest me if you're going to arrest me, because I will not stop using my medicine, you know. So there is the, you know, the tried and true smoking, and I do smoke cannabis as well. For me, it's kind of akin to having a glass of red wine at night, which I still do once in a while as well. Because it's good for the platelets to create slippery platelets. And if you have stroke that runs in your family like my family, it's good to grease up those platelets a little bit. But I'm very simple. I don't do dabs. Oh, still losing hair. I don't do dabs. I just do a bowl. And it's just nice. It's nice. Sometimes it's nice when you're socializing to smoke. Smoking is instantaneous, but it doesn't last as long, and the effects are, again, different. You know, some people prefer smoking. Also, edibles. I use a lot of edibles. I make a lot of edibles. These are brownies. These are so good. They're actually a gluten-free brownie mix. I make my banana bread from scratch, but the brownies, no, I cheat. It's called Full Circle. It's an organic brand. They make the best brownie mix. Crispy on the outside, deliciously moist and chocolatey on the inside. I will not eat the rest of that brownie until I get back from work tonight, though, because seriously, eating a whole size of the ones that I make will knock you on your ass. And I know there's a lot of people out there saying, come on, Kat, I'm a diehard. I am too. As you can see, I take cannabis daily, and these things knock me out. But they're great for sleep, and they're great for pain. The links I'm going to be posting down below will show you some peer-reviewed studies about how the efficacy and safety of cannabis has been researched, and they have found that there have been improvements with people who suffer anxiety, people who are on opiates for lengthy period, like years. What doctor would prescribe opiates for years? I don't understand that. That's like medical malpractice to me. But people who have been on opiates for years have been able to kick oxy with the aid of cannabis. So it helps with addiction. It helps with autoimmune disorders. It can cure, not just help, but it can cure certain types of cancers. My partner, I've said before, had esophageal cancer. He's already lived longer than they predicted he would live. He's lived like 4 or 5 years past when he should have for the norm. and he's never had a relapse. Knock on metal, pretend it's wood. So we know firsthand, you know, how it can help. So it's just, there's so many different ways to utilize, and I utilize all of them. If I couldn't smoke, if I could only use the products, I would still be a happy camper, because I'm taking my health into my own hands. I'm a 54-year-old menopausal lupus sufferer, plus probably RA. You know, and I'm autistic. That's another thing. It really helped. Like, I have severe anxiety. It seems like when we went into lockdown, I lost the ability to mask. So it's very hard for me. Like, I have a job now where I don't really have to deal with people. I'm cleaning after hours, office buildings. It's great because I can do my job and I can come home. Work is no longer my priority at all. My priority is family. My priority is being in my yard. My priority is healing my body so that I can stay around as long as possible and try to help affect change in whatever way I can. And, you know, it's a small way, but I'm hoping that a few people who maybe stumble across this podcast will say, hey, I have lupus and I have had the skin issues. I have had the muscular issues. I've had the joint issues. I've had the vision issues. You know, everything across the gamut. Lupus is it's a pretty debilitating illness, as is fibromyalgia, as is Lyme's disease. And these are all things that can be helped with cannabis. And this is not just a wild claim. You'll see in the links below. These peer-reviewed studies that Canada is doing are amazing. They have proven what we who have been utilizing for years already know. But it's good to be validated. It's good to have that validation. So yeah, I got a bug crawling up my butt. Sorry. Oh my God, I am like soaking. It is so hot out here, you would not believe. Yes, we are going through a major drought here in northern Minnesota. So far we've had 2 wildfires. The world is a dangerous place because of humanity, unfortunately. We've done so much damage, and I don't even know if we can recover. They say we've got like a 7-year window. I don't know, because the extreme effects are here now. And in anywhere from 7 to 10 years, all of these evergreens that you see, that we have all around, all of those beautiful, the boreal forests that we boast of here in northern Minnesota will be gone. If we continue to have droughts like this and we continue to have lower than average snowfalls, which we had last year, we hardly had any snow, that's always an indication of, you know, if you hardly have any snow, you can probably assume that it's going to be drought-like conditions. So, yeah. And amidst all this, Enbridge is siphoning off billions of gallons of water. Sanctioned by the DNR, by the way. So, I wasn't going to get into politics. I won't. But, please, if you have any questions about any of these recipes, how to make glycerin-based tincture, how to make the alcohol-based tincture, how to make delicious edibles, how to make cannabis butter, or how to make the Cannabomb. Cannabomb is very simple. It's just a few ingredients. I put a little bit of jojoba oil in it. I put, basically what it is it's an infused coconut oil, beeswax, and jojoba, and I infuse that with cannabis. I cook it overnight, and then I solidify it, and it's just wonderful. It is amazing to have around for any kind of skin disorders or acne or anything like that. It's really just a wonderful, it should be in every bug out bag across America, because it also can heal wounds, and it works as an antiseptic and an anti-inflammatory. So, I mean, once it's legal here in Minnesota, I'm going to start making my products and selling them in a truck, like a food truck. Cannabis Crone edibles, and you'll be able to get the tincture and everything from there. Oh, that's just going to be such a wonderful day when we are legal here in Minnesota. It's going to be a wonderful day. And when we are legal federally in America, the health of Americans is going to improve, the environment will improve, and our social justice, equality will improve. And that's various podcasts I've talked about this, but this has already gone on long enough, so I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone. And, you know, here's to your healing. Partake in whatever you can. If you want to message me down in the comments below, I'll give you any of these recipes. You know, I'll teach you how to make them. And, yeah, here's to your health. So I hope everyone has a beautiful rest of your day. I'm going back into my little cave because it is really, really hot out here right now. So have a beautiful day. Love you guys. Namaste.